What's up, guys? Go back to channel 4. Another reaction. We're taking a look at another first for the channel. Ladies and gentlemen, not just a first for the channel, a first for me personally. Because we're taking a look at a band called Avatar. So I do know these guys have been around for years. They've been a band for quite some time, but I just never really checked them out. I know they existed. I know they've been touring for like years, decades even, with some like heavy hitting bands, I would say, but I've never really went on my way to listen to these guys. So because ever since I first laid my eyes on these guys, I would categorize them more as like, I would fit these guys more in like the Slipknot or like Rob Zombie sort of category when it comes to metal sort of thing. I could be completely wrong, but from back in the day when I first laid my eyes on this, I felt like they were like that sort of metal, which wasn't really my favorite sort of thing, you know. So I think kind of like, you know, maybe stayed away from these guys. But I do know since they've been around for decades, they're probably definitely a popular band. So what better time to come and check these guys out, especially since they've been releasing some new stuff. And if I like them, I need to check them out with some new stuff as well, ladies and gentlemen. But also be sure to let me know what they do sound like, and be sure to, because I could be completely wrong, which I probably am, because I've never heard these guys before. But just let me know if they're like a heavier band, if they're more like kind of like a Ghost sort of esque sort of band with like upbeat sort of stuff like that. Be sure to let me know down in the comments. But yeah, if I like this one, and if they have heavy ones, be sure to let me know as well, and I might have to check them out in the near future for you guys. But this is a completely new one. I think this is like the most recent one that they just released. It keeps showing up on my recommended, so I was like, you know what, screw it, let's check it out. The time is now or never, so let's get it, ladies and gentlemen. But before we get started, be sure to comment below, appreciate it, and it's really helped me out. And if you like Avatar, be sure to like on this video as well. And if you're new here, thank you for stopping by, checking out some other videos, because we're just getting started on these heavy bangers, ladies and gentlemen. And also, very quickly, I want to make a very quick announcement. For those of you that don't know, I released my very first original track over on my channel, so be sure to go over there, check it out. Let me know what you guys think, because if you're a fan of the more hardcore metalcore side of things with deep sounding breakdowns, you guys will definitely be a fan of this one, let me just say. And if you guys do end up liking it, be sure to stay tuned, because there'll be plenty more coming your way in the near future. So yeah, but let's get right into it. This is Avatar's newest release track titled Crying Fire. Ooh, little southern lead in here. Little jungle build up.
Taste the moment, taste the endless, taste my lips and warning mist. We're here again. Here we are. Keep your promise, keep your urges, keep my secret naked skin. I know the end.
That's it, my man definitely has the crow look though. Your man's going ham. Okay. Woo. Get up there, my guy. The voice though to him. You get high up there on the cleans. Let's get it, I'm in.
Come this hour, come together, come with me, we're almost there. It's only pain. Stay away.
Kinda has a bit of a Ghost influence. Similar sound.
It's something else, I'll show the way.
Definitely classic.
I will find our way.
Not really heavy, but has that kind of like dissonant tone. They had the voice though. almost had like a little ballad almost. A little emotional piece. Man's been riffing up non-stop. Fingers of steel, let's get it. Ooh. Okay, yeah, bring that solo piece. Let's go, minions of Joker. Rip it up. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Get it, very different from what I was expecting. You know, but like I said, it has that classic sort of metal tone to it. It has that classic, 80s influence, I would say. Very reminiscent of Ghost, I would say. I don't know if they, are fans of them. I don't know if they take, inspiration from them. But what I could say, they're definitely reminiscent of that old school 80s kind of like, subtle metal sort of thing. It's not really heavy, not really focused on the breakdowns. I don't know, at least this song isn't. But maybe they do have heavier songs. Maybe they do have more thrashy kind of like beat songs from their like past albums, stuff like that. But this one's very subtle. It's very upbeat, almost ballad influence, very emotional, I would say. I don't know his name, but he definitely has his pipes on him. He definitely has the pipes to the guy. He can definitely get up there, especially on the higher, clean tone sort of thing. It's a very hard thing to do to keep your clarity, especially on that higher register, especially on live shows sort of thing. So he definitely has that control on his voice. I can get behind that. He definitely I don't know if he does screams as well. I don't know if he does, high screams or low sort of screams. I don't know if they don't do it at all. I don't know. Be sure to let me know down in the comments. But that would be very interesting, to see if he does do that. See what his voice sounds like on that sort of thing. But yeah, I've always known they had this sort of image to them. They've always had this kind of like circus, kind of like clown-esque sort of theme to them. My man here definitely has the Crow build when it comes to the makeup and Joker influence as well. With the whole imagery. So I could definitely say my man's definitely a fan of Batman as well as myself. Joker is probably one of the most iconic villains in any form of media, I would say. But very interesting nonetheless, man. Very subtle on the guitar sort of things. My man, he was riffing it up on the lead guitar pretty much throughout the entire song. Very classic, nostalgic kind of metal, I would say. But my drum man, he was kind of beating it up a little bit. He was kind of, doing some fills. Definitely tell he was getting into it. I don't know if they have like one guitarist or two guitarists. I think they only showed one guitars. They might have two, but they pretty much mainly showed the lead guy playing. So nothing really too crazy on the rhythm sort of things. Just simple open, simple power chords. There was some sort of dissonant tone chords that they were playing throughout the chorus sort of thing, which I kind of noticed. So it'd make it sound a little bit darker, a little bit different. But yeah, other than that, nothing too crazy, nothing too fancy on that sort of thing. But they definitely had a solo piece in there. I wasn't really expecting a solo piece, so that was pretty interesting. Catchy. It's very short and sweet though. It wasn't doing any Van Halen action, so we might maybe get some of that on the next sort of tracks here. But it's a very subtle, overall very subtle track. Nothing too crazy, that stood out to me, I would say. So I don't know if they do breakdowns. I don't know if they do heavier songs sort of thing, because when I first saw Ghost, especially when a band called that, especially with the imagery and stuff like that, you'd think they would be a death metal band, but it turns out no, they sound pretty much identical to this. So maybe they have the same image, or maybe they do the same sort of thing. They look scary, they look creepy, they look like a black metal band, but it turns out they're just an 80s metal band at heart. So I don't know, maybe they do heavier stuff. Be sure to let me know. I'm gonna have to check these guys out for you guys more in the near future, especially if they're coming out with some new tracks, if they're coming out with a new album. Maybe I have to check out some older ones and prepare myself for that when it comes on. But yeah, overall very subtle, very catchy, very clean as well on the thing. My man definitely has his his presence to him. He definitely has that stage presence, definitely showing him he's getting into the track when he's screaming those words out. I would say didn't really fit sort of the way he was telling them in the track though. But I mean, you can check more of these guys out as well. If they have any more popular ones or the most popular ones, be sure to let me know. And I'm gonna have to check those ones out for you guys as well. But yeah, so be sure to hit the subscribe button, especially new here. Just going through every single band on channel. Ladies and gentlemen, you want us out on a single one. Guarantee that. And I'll see you guys in the next one.